Okay, this is part two, but like I was saying, when I was talking to this dude, the Eric Holder who always go under C Boogie stuff, right? This dude act like he's the definition of self-improvement when his dude don't have he don't have a low percent body fat. He looks like he's fat. He sounds slow. And not to take shots like that, but I don't get it that you try to act like y'all try to act like y'all mythical guys that know how to navigate through every society. If that was the case, then you would be able to go into Arab society and do business with Arab men. You would go in Asian markets and do a business with Asian people, or you would go do business with Latinos. The funny thing that a lot of these dudes do to gas themselves up, they try to go in the circles of slow vibrational people and say they have social skills. But when they get into a higher tier of people, they don't know how to operate or actually know how to navigate through another race of people. They don't like a patriarchy. They like a matriarchy. So that's why everything they do when it comes down to their social skills and all this other shit, it's women based. It's not men based. So when guys call somebody a weirdo and all this other stuff, it's basically to devalue what you are, so you can run and say, please, I don't want to be a weirdo. I want to be one of the cool kids. Can you stop calling me a weirdo? Can you please stop calling me a weirdo? I need your help so I can be just as cool as you. So when everybody calls you weirdo, it's a dumb way, it's a cheap way of trying to devalue. Because you can be out here, you can be a power lifter, like I was, or a bodybuilder, like a couple people I knew was. And you can already been in the gym seeing bullshit. And you be like, man, I'm not doing none of that again. I already took years of my life out, perfecting my body and getting myself to a higher level in the gym. I'm not doing that again. But then they'll look at you and say, no, you got to self-improve now. Because that's the reason why you don't like women, and this is the reason why you this and this and that. They try to devalue what your opinion, even though they don't know your experience, even though they don't know your experience, they don't know how many women you've been with, they don't know anything. All they got to do is stamp you with a weirdo. It's kind of like the game shit. If they feel like that you're a weirdo, it doesn't matter if you saved 1,000 kids. It doesn't matter if you went into a burning building and saved a whole bunch of people and they're looking at you as a hero somewhere else. No, they could call you a weirdo, and then they can actually just bury your presence and you as a human being and be like, oh, you're a weirdo. Okay, you don't matter. The word weirdo is overused in the black community because it's an easy tool to devalue. So when you hear anybody who says you're a weirdo, or like the Mika B chick tried to do to me, oh, you're a weirdo, it was kind of trying to devalue me, because in the black community, the word weirdo can actually it makes you into a black sheep of society, and they wonder why nobody want to be around them or work around them or work together or any of this bullshit that they try to promote. You don't change the vocabulary, but you try to use the same shaming language, and then think that that the same people you call a weirdo is gonna come to you and tell you to take that weirdo tag off them. Please take the weirdo tag off me, please. I don't want to be called the weirdo. Please, I don't want to be called the weirdo. It's kind of like it's real childish that, you know, they're gonna get everybody to call you names for you to do what they say, or for you to get that tag off them. They'll put a sticker on you and be like, I'm gonna put the sticker on you and I'm not gonna take it off unless you do what I say. So the word weirdo is overused in the black community because it's a cheap way of trying to get people to do what they say, or it's a cheap way of trying to discredit you and devalue as a human being. So they can spin anything and do anything they want towards you, as long as they give you a weirdo, as long as they keep calling you a weirdo. And weirdo is also a trigger, also a popular word to use to gather all the people up who got the same mindset. So when they call somebody a weirdo, it triggers women who don't hear a lot of insults, and they don't have certain words that could stick to them. But when you call a man a weirdo, it magically puts the guy that they call the weirdo in a position of you against everybody who think you're a weirdo. So they're trying to convince multiple people, where whoever their audience is or whoever the people around them, that you are a weirdo and you're the guy who don't belong. So they will try to hurt you, rob you, and they will try to treat you like dog crap in order to feel good about themselves. So when they call you a weirdo, when anybody call you a weirdo, just know that these type of people that exist in Black America, especially the women, because once they call you a weirdo, they want to devalue you as a human being, and anything they do and say towards you, it can be changed in any type of context. They don't have to be right about you. All they gotta do is call you a weirdo. Also, when they call you a weirdo, they can say the lowest things about you, because they're giving everybody a confirmation that's calling you and saying what they want to say about you. So if somebody calls you a weirdo and a chick call you a weirdo, oh, he is a weirdo, he probably touched little kids. Oh, he is a weirdo, he probably gonna shoot up a school. Oh, he is a weirdo, he probably has sex dolls. Oh, he is a weirdo. And it gives them confirmation to do and say what they want to you, because it's no repercussions, because they feel that, guess what, you as a weirdo, as a person they deem weird as a weirdo, you don't have a whole bunch of friends or backups. And if you do have friends and backup, if it's more than these people can handle, then they will stop calling you that and they will retreat. But if it's not enough people for them, if it's enough people for them to call weirdo, and they got a group of people with them, they're going to keep calling you weirdo, and they're going to call everybody weirdo. But the fact is that when you do have multiple people, they're going to try to bring multiple people towards you in order to devalue you as a whole group. So no matter what you do in your arguments, no matter how high your stature is, they can say that you're just a weirdo. Y'all a group of weirdos. So attractive personality. A lot of women and a lot of these PUA dating coaches and shit use attractive personality. Mind you, this is the same group of women who don't know how to fit in other cultures, don't know how to attract other races of men, but they want to say that men's supposed to have an attractive personality. And this is what comes up with when you say the attractive personality. This is mean that you're supposed to be an entertainer. This is why they like entertainers. You supposed to entertain her, and you supposed to have the attractive personality, but she's just supposed to be a dead person, and you're supposed to do all the work socially. So while she has no personality, she has no character, she has no real depth to her. This is what she want you to do, because everything could be could make everything, because somebody walking behind me, whatever. Everything is put onto you. All the heavy load is on you. So she doesn't have to have a good personality. She doesn't have to be a good person. She doesn't have to have attractive personality. She doesn't have to have a personality that can actually, for you to want to be and stay in a relationship. If you look at these women who use this word attractive personality, a lot of them are single. They're single moms. They're not married, and they're in the comment sections or on the shade room. They're pretty much projecting what they. Because if you have a attractive personality, she doesn't have to have a quote-unquote attractive personality, only you. So you're coming to, even if you got an attractive personality, you're constantly, consistently, 24/7 dancing for her, making her laugh, making her feel good. But then the small things she doesn't have to do because you got to do. So once that personality, that so-called attractive personality stops, she can leave you for somebody else. Or the other side of this so-called attractive personality bullshit that they try to put on you is that if you got an attractive personality, it's not going to last that long until she gets bored. This is why a lot of them cheat. This is why you got a lot of videos of them sucking dudes off while they talking on the phone with their boyfriend. Because yes, if you get a woman with attractive personality, eventually she's gonna get bored with it. Then she's gonna go with another dude who got attractive personality. So it gives them the authorization to jump from man to man, because guess what? Attractive personality doesn't keep her, stimulate her. You gotta always bend into her will and dancing and toe dancing for her, because that's what she wants you to do. That's why to attract the personality. Oh, you gotta attract me. I don't have to attract you because I'm a woman. You have to attract me. You have to tell me stories. You have to tell me a joke. You have to make me feel good. You gotta make me. So when they say attract the personality, it's like, okay, that's them trying to tell you what kind of woman she is. Because any good woman don't say attract the personality. I never heard any good woman say attractive personality. They say other things. They say other things besides that. They say character. Or more a character. You got to have a good character. But these women say attractive personality. So you have to see kind of key words that these women say in dating apps and in comment sections and shit like that, because this is what they really saying to you. You have to do everything, and she doesn't have to do absolutely nothing. She can be the most boringest person in the world, but you have to be the most funnest person in the world. And a lot of these women, especially black women, don't have really creativity. They don't have creative personalities. And they're not creative persons in general. This is why they say they nerds, but they always like to go out. Then they say, they're this, they're that, but they never bike ride, they never horseback ride, they never mountain climb, they never did anything out of the ordinary. They never took salsa dancing classes, they never took cooking classes, they don't have book clubs. They're the most limited group of women that you probably can meet out there. And it's funny that these women will use the word attractive personality when a lot of them don't have that themselves. So the other word that they use to try to devalue into something is resources. So they looking at other races of women and they're like, I wish I had that. I wish I wanted that. But the fact is, a lot of these women have their own money, but they want to use your money because they want to keep up with every other race. They want to keep up with every other race of women. These are the same women who will wear blonde weaves and do all this and keep their nails done because they're trying to compete with the other race of men, other races of women. These women do not care about the majority of resources in order to make a better generation of people, make a better generation of kids. Because the fact is, these single moms are not turning out doctors and lawyers. These single moms are not turning out technicians. These single moms are not doing none of this. If they care about resources so much, you wouldn't have a woman that I made a video about saying that she want her husband to die, or she want to get a stepfather for her kid, find another man, because her husband, her 65-year-old husband, is dying in the bed. So that's a woman, especially her doing this online. That's a woman who don't know what she doing, and she hurting her kids, because a lot of women who jump from man to man around their kids, you see the results. They usually hurt their kids. Their kids don't have a stable father figure around that give them knowledge and don't connect with their DNA. It's a scientific thing that a man and a child does to each other. Not in that other manner, but they imprint on each other. Your DNA speaks to your kids' DNA. And it teaches your kids, I forgot what it's called, but it teaches your kids, it kind of teaches your kids of what you are. And it's kind of like you have to go through a period where you have to improve. You got to see that if your kid has certain things about you, your anger, your personality, your physical gifts, or your physical, anything that you had in your physical or your mental, you have to fix, because that's your child. So it's a DNA connection that you have with your child. What that woman does when she takes that kid from that takes that kid from that father and thinks about herself when it comes to the resources, she takes away that kid's ability to grow and develop and actually flourish by having a real father around, so that kid can develop into a better human being than what the father was and what she was. So she makes it all about herself, and then she gets bags, handbags, and this and that. And then she ends up like, kind of like 50 Cent's son. 50 Cent's son, if you look at him, he's not even close to being his dad. If he was around his dad, if he was actually with his dad and his mom, and his mom didn't keep him from his dad, then basically 50 Cent's son would actually be like a new age rapper. Or he would have been in shows right now. He would have been an actor, and he would have been he's a split image of his dad, but also he would have developed all the stuff that he needed to develop in order to be a successful person, because his dad was evolving while he was a child. So his dad, if he was around his son while 50 Cent was evolving from a rapper to an actor to a producer to somebody who produces stuff and owning companies, his son would have benefited from that, and his son would have started learning that at a younger age. But his mom took it from him and made it about her, and now her son isn't a success. Her son is actually just the seed of a celebrity, but without the benefits and without the first-hand experience and learning that you should have from a successful father. This is the reason why you have a lot of group of women. You have other races of women who look at resources in a different manner, because as long as the man bringing in the resources, the kid will be nurtured and given the path that they needed. But when you look at the black kids, the woman takes all the resources and take all that. She doesn't take just the resources. She takes the nurturing. She takes all of the DNA. She takes the DNA bonding. She takes the DNA bonding that a kid's supposed to have with a father, and she throws it out the window for a price. So she brings all these different dudes around. Destroying the kids' ability to learn from who birthed them and who the source of where that kid come from. You can't learn from other men. You can't learn from other men how to unlock all of your talents if that's not your father. So when you take a child away from their father, they can't learn. They don't know the quirks and stuff that their father should have taught them. So somebody else is teaching your kid how to do certain things, and even if it does work out, it's still the kid's not gonna be 100%, because when the dad or fathers have these kind of skills and talent, they learned in their own way how to deal with certain things that they can pass on to their kids. But when you have somebody bringing in somebody else, and you keep having a person keep bringing in some different people, your kid doesn't develop in a way. The kid doesn't develop to a point where they can actually operate in a normal society standards, because they haven't fully developed. So now the mom is constantly putting money over the kid, and the kid doesn't develop. And when you look at it and you see it, you're like, oh wow, why you had all this stuff and all this other stuff. But at some point you look at it and be like, okay, what happened to this kid? What happened? Why this kid acts like this? Why he looks like this? Why this happened? And then you see her going from man to man to man, and you see that this kid didn't develop themselves. So when they do resources, it's all about them. The resources was never about just the resources itself in general wasn't just about the woman. It was about the family. And when you make resources all about making the woman happy and not making the whole family happy, then that's when you have a dysfunctional group of people who continue dysfunction over and over and over again. And that's what you see in the black community with the black women. They constantly have all this money, but then you look at their kids and they gotta send their kids to college on scholarships, when other races of people, most of them tell their kids, you go to college to network and you just do it. Most kids from other races get a scholarship, or the parents pay for it. Most of the parents that I know from other races pay for their kids college the first and second year. They don't like accepting money because they have it. But that's what happens when you prepare for your kids. Your kids get everything they should have. Whatever your kids want to do, even when they're adult, you back them up and you always bail them out. But every time you look at the black woman and her kids, she says stuff like, you a grown ass man. I'm not supposed to take care of you. You're older than now. I'm not taking care of you. I'm not doing this and this and this and that. So they have a misconception of this word resources, when resources was supposed to expand your race and make your race stronger. Not just the women, but the man as well. It wasn't supposed to use for the woman to get power over the man, or the woman to do what she want with the money and waste it on her youth. It was supposed for her to nurture the kids to develop into a good woman for the race, or a good man for the race, so they can make stable families. But when you have a group of women who's as selfish as black women, then this is what you got. You got a group of women who spend more money on themselves than they do their kids, and you have dysfunctional families. So this is a word that they devalue guys just to take their money from them. Social skills. When people say that you have no social skills, or you lack social skills, or you're a weirdo, you socially awkward or whatever, they're pretty much kind of telling on themselves, because a lot of these people, they only stay in black circles. This is the reason why they always say, we want to build, we should build, we should just make it black, all black. This should be black people. This and this should be black people. This, because they can't operate in other races. They can't even ally and keep themselves in a cordial manner around other races of people. So they have to have some kind of control over their own narrative and inside their own head, because when it comes in they social skills, they don't have social skills to maneuver around men in other societies. But they do have social skills to maneuver around women in other races, in other societies. But then the men in other cultures are patriarchy. So they don't play that shit, and they won't let them get away with it. They won't let them get away with that kind of shit that they pull in the black community, because the black community, as we know, is a patriarchy. So when they talk about social skills, somebody socially awkward, it gives them a reason to say and do whatever they want. This is why they want to keep everything black, because when you say we keep everything black, it's pretty much them saying we can keep everything the way it is, and we keep it a matriarchy. Because the fact is, if you got 100 black men who want to build a town, eventually you'll have a bunch of men bringing in a bunch of fucked up women, and they'll fuck up the new society that you're trying to build, and then it'll be fucked up. And then eventually women will bring in more fucked up women, and then the whole thing will fuck up. It's kind of like them trying to keep a dysfunctional society alive and dysfunctional shit alive by saying we want to keep things black. Because if you do have guys that are mixed, you're gonna have a patriarchy looming over the head of the society, and all the shit that they used to doing, like fucking other people's wives and robbing people and setting up people and saying that you're lame and you're a weirdo and you're this and you're that. They can continue to say that stuff and devalue and use these words that I put on a list They can continue to do that. But in other societies, they try that shit. People will check them. People would tell them to get the hell out. And they would just tell them to get out. So this is the reason why a lot of them just stay within the black community, because they can't run their mouth off at somebody so-called weird in another community. They got to keep that shit to themselves. This is why when they get another black person around while they talking, they always stay in, I seen it in many different instances where you had two black people. You have one black person who can't control themselves, and all he does is talk shit about everybody. But he can't do it out loud because he'll get checked by everybody else because he's not around black people. But once a second black person comes in that environment, now he got somebody to talk to and say whatever he wants. But they can't say anything because they still surrounded by multiple people. So it's mainly about a control thing, right? It's about controlling the environment and to continue the conversations the same way. They don't want smart people to dominate. They don't want good people to dominate. They don't want good outcomes, because when you have a functional society, you have a small bit of dysfunction, but the fact is, the dysfunction will be at a small minimum. It won't be as a big minimum as that, and they can't say what they want to say. So when people say social skills, it's just it means that they can only navigate inside certain. They can navigate in only Black America. They can't do it in Asian America. They can't do it in white America. They can't do it in any American, because that's the reason why they're selling self-improvement to black men only. And this is the reason why, if they do go in another market when it comes to white men and stuff, they got a small group of white men, and that's about it. Or a small group of that race of men, and that's about it. They're not asked to go to Japan and help them with their problem. They're not asked to go to China and help them with their problem. They're not asked to go to India and school these men how to get women. They're not asked to go to these societies and bring their thinking to other races. They're not asked to go to Mexico so you can dime game some women. They're not asked that. They're not asked to go to Colombia to get women some men. To get some men women. They're not asked to go to Brazil to get the men some women in Brazil. They're not asked that, right? So when they talk about social skills, they're just talking about nigga shit, nigga social skills, and nigga economics. They want to keep that nigga stuff alive, and then they want to cloud it and put a stamp on it and say social skills. It's kind of like the game shit. Sellout. That word is used when you don't do what the general society want them to do. It's kind of like when they try to say they got social skills, or you have lack of social skills, or you don't have social skills to devalue. No, it's basically them trying to do everything they can to discredit you because you're not doing what they say. You have to bow down to the women, and you have to bow down to dysfunction. So when they call you a sellout or all kinds of other names, they're just trying to like devalue because they want whatever you have or whatever you are about to go to them. And then they throw you in the trash and be like, oh, ha, 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 he's a weirdo, he's this. Self-improvement. Now, self-improvement, the word has been beaten to a pulp now, and I'm starting to see this shit where everybody's talking about self-improvement and you need to self-improve. And I kind of look at these dudes, like I said before, I used to be a power lifter, right? And I heard this shit among Blacks Americans, and then I'm like looking at them and they talking about self-improvement. And I'm like, okay, let's go, let's compete. Let's go against each other. Oh, and I said, okay, let's go against each other. Let's go bet. $1,500. Let's bet $1,500 that I can get 5% body fat by this amount of months. If you really believe in self-improvement and if you are in self-improvement, then I say get things like, okay, why don't you learn another language? Okay, learn at least 100 words and say it in a conversation, and we see if you're self-improved. I always challenge these guys who talked about self-improvement, unlike the guys in this space, and they always fail. So these guys always think that you need to self-improve and go to the gym. So I want to talk about the shit that happened on Ramil Amir shit when he said a black pill is for losers. it shows me that Ramil Lamir is actionary, and I don't think he'd never get nowhere to a higher level like that, because I mean, he just got his ass whipped by SYSBM and made himself look stupid like an idiot. Now he's trying to go at the black pill guys, and the funny thing about dealing with the black pill guys or dealing with like the incels is the fact is that if you keep fucking with them, you're gonna end up like Reg the Bad Guy and get your shit hacked, and you're not gonna do shit about it. I don't care how much, I don't care how much you got black guys in tech. The white guys in tech and the Asian guys in tech are more disciplined than the black guys in tech. And they have more technical skills because they care about everything about tech. They're not half in, half out. They're 100% in with the tech. So this dude says suicide is not the answer. But he didn't even understand that some guys did go to the gym. Don't you know that it's a couple people in America who can't actually, who had to go to the doctors. It's when you tell somebody that all they got to do is go to the gym and self-improve, you're asking people to do stuff that their body can't. Some people can't develop muscles, so they have to go to the doctors and shoot up antibiotic steroids that's subscribed to from doctors describing to them so they can build muscle up. Not everybody can go to the gym and get big. Not even a lot of black men can go to the gym and get big. We develop different. So when you telling guys to go to the gym just to have a conversation with a chick or just to go get attracted chick, you're telling somebody to go in the gym 6 months just to have a conversation, or listen, the maximum of building your muscles to making yourself big and noticeable is like the maximum is 2 years. So you're telling guys to just do all this, and then when they make it a habit of saying, "Oh, get your money up," then you're just telling them to go be used as resources for women. And then you say shit like, "Get your power and stack it up." But then you'll go around telling people that, hey, you shouldn't be going to another country and get women. That's stupid. I don't get it. It's dumb. But then you tell them to get money, and it don't make no fucking sense. But when people talk about self-improvement, they think that self-improvement is a magical pill that takes like 3-4 months, and then you magically self-improve. And these same people who said they're self-improve and they use the self-improve thing, I understand when people say self-improve. People use it. When some people talk about self-improvement and they mean it, it means that there it's building off what you built before, and you're making it 10 times better. Some of these people use self-improvement as a shaming language, like you never built nothing, you don't have anything that you built, you don't have nothing, so all you got to do, you got to go from zero. You got to go from losing to winning when you go to the gym and build money up. Like, you're talking to people who probably did go to the gym, still get no results. There are things called gym sales. And see how limited Ramil Lamir is, because guys like Ramil Lamir or C Boogie and all these other people, they're never going to go on the dark web. That's where the real red pill, everybody is at in the dark web. Now, these dudes are not tech savvy. So a lot of people who try to go on the dark web, you're going to get your shit hacked. And they're going to take your information and sell it. You got to navigate perfect in the dark web. And not only that, you got to pay to get into some websites. Also, they put a monitor on you to see if you telling their secrets out to everybody else. So 9 times out of 10, you dudes don't even put, y'all talk about money and power, but the fact is, when you go into the deep web got a lot of secrets in it. And people, it's not as prominent as it was before, but the fact is, there's a lot of people in the dark web that actually operate their websites, so stupid people like them don't go and tell the world about how they've been in incel forums or what's black pill is. These dudes are so lazy they won't actually hire people to help them go to the deep web. And the funny thing about some of these dudes is kind of like, it's laughable in my opinion, where you got guys who pretend that they know about the black pill and they start Googling it. And it's like, dude, you gotta go deeper than that. That's why the dark web, the deep web, dark web exists. To do your research and actually go deep inside the internet where nobody can go, where no eyes are there, where only a few people are there, dangerous people, and people who can generally get your shit. But the fact is, when you go in there, it's a flourish of information. It gives you an insight. Okay, let me walk up now, because I'm almost finished with the video. It gives you an insight on everything that you're talking about. So when guys talk about red pill and shit, like Ramil Amir, he's a street dude who try to sound smart. Like if you put Ramil Amir is a MGTOW, he'll go make a story about MGTOW and start trashing it. If you say Ramil Amir is a booty hole bandit, he'll go make a whole live stream about it and say, "Oh, I'm not that. You guys are this and this and that." It's like, you know how easy it is for an elite or some kind of hacker or some kind of person with real power can bait him and then get him and lock his ass up or something like that. This dude is like, for me, I look at him, I'm like, this dude crazy. Like this dude. So they called you black pilled and you got offended and then you start talking shit about it. This is why black people can't get no power. You need to align with people. The funny thing about black people is they don't know how to align with people. They don't know how to make alliances. Every other race know how to make alliances. And with alliances you have to restrict your fucking vocabulary. You have to improve your vocabulary so you don't actually offend people. So when somebody calls you a name and you go around on a tangent, you're going to offend everybody in that community where they're going to come after you or if they got power. See, when you say stupid shit to people, there's politicians, I can tell you right now from being in the deep web, dark web, whatever you want to call it, there's kids from rich, powerful families up in there selling shit, selling secrets. There's people in there that's black pilled. They come from powerful, rich families. Who billionaires and some even trillionaires. I have ran into a person who said he was the son of a trillionaire. And it's kind of like you looking at these kind of dudes and he like, huh? And then he showed all the stuff that he did, and I'm not gonna say what he up with the other stuff that he showed, but I seen some pretty disturbing shit, but I also saw some anxiety shit. And this was the son of a trillionaire. So you trying to act like you separate yourself and you doing that. Some rich successful men, some rich successful people, their sons and daughters are fucking incels, and because they got the money. Some of them are black pill the shit because they got everything they wanted. So I mean, you'll never get up there to a level where you're a billionaire. And when it comes down to self-improvement, they try to stamp that shit on everybody they can in order to say that you're below me and you got to get on my level because you haven't improved yourself. And it's a stupid term to keep using for people who you think is below you. And now the word in general don't mean shit no more, because these fools keep using it over and over and over and over again. Oh yeah, you need to self-improve. Oh yeah, man, you need to do this and need to do that. It's like, yo, you don't understand that. So you keep saying self-improve is making the word meaningless. It's making the word feel like it's just a shaming language. And at some point, somebody gonna have to build and make something else that's different that counters that, because now the word in general is used to just put down people and tell people that they're not at a level where they should be at, when it should have been used as an encouragement mechanism to make them do better and get them out of a certain environment, but instead it's used to get with people who are below you and then give whatever you improved yourself to the people who didn't improve themselves. I mean, it's a mess, man. So these are the words that a lot of people use in the black American side, where they try to shame you. These are the words that they use to try to shame you and shit, right? So I'm gonna give you some instances where all these words come up, right? So if your wife cheats on you, you didn't have social skills and you didn't improve yourself, so magically you got cheated on because you wasn't an improved man. See how the shit devalue you, and it helps the woman, right? So it's your fault that this woman cheated on you because you wasn't an approved guy, and you caught your wife cheating on you, and you didn't have social skills, you was a weirdo, and your resources wasn't on point, right? Your girl is cheating on you because you didn't have enough social skills, or you didn't self-improve because your girl is cheating on you, right? So that's an example of how, you know, they like to pick an argument and always blame the guy. Oh, you didn't self-improve, you didn't have enough resources, or you didn't have enough social skills to do anything. You know, they don't want you to date women of other races because only weirdos do that. You know, or they're go call her a weirdo because she has definition. She has a defined body. So you're a weirdo because you like women who got a defined body and not the women with a fat booty and big titties, right? You're a weirdo, right? You're the guy who they want you to like what they like, but you know you're the weirdo because you like a Pacific girl, a Pacific woman, right? So you are a weirdo because you like this woman right here. You like white women. You're not supposed to like white women. You're a weirdo. You need to self-improve in order to get a black woman who don't go to the gym and don't take care of her body. But then these same people who talk about self-improvement, then you look at the women and they don't look nowhere near this, but they're talking about attractive personalities, right? Funny to me that a lot of these people forget that these women wear weave, and when you try to gear shit towards men and tell them they need to self-improve, but the women get to walk around looking just as horrible as the men with a worse hairline. For some reason, it's okay for them to walk around with weaves and wigs and all this other shit. But you gotta self-improve for this woman because you gotta keep up with her facade of wearing wigs and shit, right? You the weirdo, but she wears somebody else's hair on her head. Now, these are the files I got from when, you know, women and shit talking about me. So this one chick says, Christopher Owens, would you mind if I use your picture to ward off evils? You're like a scarecrow. Devaluing me. This is what they do when they call you names and weirdo. Shit like this is able to go by because they get to call you names, and nobody calls a female out like this. They don't call them out. But if I made a video, if I said this to a girl, it would mean I'm angry and I'm bitter and I'm delusional. See how all the words start coming back? So I made a video trolling. So he started acting just like me, because I made myself, you know, when I was on there, I was trolling and stuff. So people started pretending to be like me, or they call it the Christopher fashion, the Owens fashion. So they started dressing like me, doing the tatters. The chicks started doing it. They started making memes of me. But all this, they got access to it because black people decided to call me names and all this other shit. This chick took my picture that I had, my trolling picture, and put her face on my body. Because it was okay, because they thought less of me. So, a group of women who would participate in ghetto gaggers, but you're the bitter, angry, delusional person, and this woman right here will come online telling you that you need to self-improve, or you need social skills to speak to her, even though she sold herself and her dignity out for a little bit of money to get a trash can thrown on her and stuff. Look, this is how the words try to devalue. Imagine, in society, doing this already made yourself devalue. Being paid to be someone's trash is already making yourself devalue. But guess what? There's no words for her. She does get words. She's called the queen. She's called this. She's called that. She could come to the black community and dictate who's weird and who's not. The same group of women who every time they do something stupid, they online, or they tape each other doing stupid stuff. But these are the women who will call you names. You're bitter. You're delusional. You need to self-improve, and you're a sellout. But you're on the line all the time, representing yourself in a fucked up manner, and you still, black women and black men who cape for them still didn't create a website alternative to these websites who make them look bad. Funny. No matter how much money you have, they still try to manipulate the situation on devaluing you. You can bring a whole bunch of money to the table, but then they'll turn it into, you're just a resource because you're not the guy that we like. You don't have an attractive personality. You're just a bag. And they will take all this money and laugh at you when you're broke. These are the group of women who think that their past don't matter and they can clean up their past. And they can sleep with multiple men and then ask you that you need to self-improve. You need to have social skills to be with them, and you need to do all this extra shit just to be with them after they had let all these guys in them. But then they'll turn around and say these guys had attractive personalities. These guys had self-improvement. These guys was this and this and this. But you need to catch up to what these guys did to me. But instead, I'm going to make you pay for it and use you as a resource. This is what happens with these women. They will, on the right side, they will come to you and tell you that you need to self-improve for that. You need to have social skills for this. You're angry and bitter because she brung this version of you to her. I mean, she brought this version of herself to you. You are delusional. You're angry. You're bitter. You should have been better man. You should have been self-improved. You should have been this and this and that. This black people in general like to use words to shame people. And I'm proud that a lot of black men in general, black men only, has now kind of looked at these people and looked at them and said, I got to get the fuck away from these people. And what all the men like myself trying to do is trying to like get you off this train of hamster wheel bullshit when they try to shame you into doing what they say with trigger words and trying to gang up on you, because that's what black people do best. They like to bully people. They like to gang up on you. They like to tell you that you're this and you're that. They like to use numbers. Most of the people in the black community are cowards. They don't want to fight one-on-one. The main cowards are the ones who can't stand on their square. Most of the guys who speak are SYSBM and all that. We got a small group of people. they got hundreds, they got thousands of people who talk about us all the time. Now, in other races, they look at that and said, these men are strong because they're versing all these different, they versing their whole group of people, and they're not backing down. And then they look at these people and they're like, why are they calling them these strange names, and why are they saying all this stuff about these people? If these people are not that liked by their people, and these people are vile people, they just don't say it to each other. Let's get to know this guy. Let's get to know this. Let's see if he learns our languages and learn our culture. And when we do, they accept us in their culture and they accept us in stuff. But these people, they like to use numbers. They like to use numbers. They like to use herd mentality. They like to use many different things to discourage you for trying to be yourself and trying to evolve from the dysfunction. You know, if you don't drink or smoke or go to parties or never been in all types of fights and all this other shit, or rob people or did none of the stuff, you're somehow a weirdo or some of this other stuff. But when you do this shit, you're not. When you do some of this shit, you're normal. And what makes this whole thing a sick joke is that what makes all of it a sick joke is that these people don't know that they're very delusional, and they're gonna continue to be sitting there complaining about them not getting anywhere in life or them not getting anywhere in society and all this other stuff, man. Like I said before, man, all guys like me trying to do is open up the floodgates and open up the door for people who feel just like us and let them escape the dysfunction and then close the door back up. So the people who enjoy this dysfunction can stay in that shit. They can stay in that dysfunction. They can go rob and shoot each other and do that. We gonna get the good people out that's not the part of that dysfunction and keep them away from them motherfuckers. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're doing it in a way where we can be safe and we won't put ourselves in harm's way by doing it online. Because a lot of dudes, also the shaming too with the whole you only online. They want to have the ability to reach you and hurt you to quiet you up. You know, these are the type of people who won't care if somebody shoots you or rob you because you're speaking different from them. They'll want you to put yourself in that bad predicament where you're outside trying to, like, you know, you disagreeing with somebody and something violence happened. They'll just say, oh, well, we need to stop doing that to each other. You'll be used as a prop. But online, you get to actually speak your mind without them trying to do violent shit at you. And making videos is a safer way to deal with black people in general. Because once you try to do it in real life, the violence come, them trying to do anything, trying to clown you, do all this other shit. You have to deal with all this other damn shaming language. You got to deal with people's lifestyles and shit. So it's the better way to just separate yourself. And I think, you know, SYSBM and all the people out here, they're doing a good job at keeping themselves from all the bullshit that they have to deal with these people. And it's a better situation when you have an alternative to not allow them to hurt you and do anything. You know, reporting your videos, taking it down. At least you're alive. You know, the small kinks and the small stuff that they do, like on here, trying to throw allegations on you, most of it ending failures because people see what kind of people they are. But in general, man, when people say, why are you making videos online and not doing this in real life? Because we want to keep ourselves safe. You speak the truth in Black America, you're gonna have a target on your head, and they're gonna try to kill you. That's the thing. You speak the truth, they'll try to do something to harm you, or they'll try to ruin your life. Many different things that they'll try to do to shut you up if you speak that. But online, you kind of have a better safety for yourself. So, yeah, that's about it, man.